If you guys didn't know, Epic Games is planning to actually have the Fortnite Battle Royale experience made within Unreal Engine Fortnite. A lot of people are worried about this, but I personally don't think it's much to be really concerned about. I trust Epic Games at this point. We are like about, 8 years into the game now, and the game is still thriving more than ever. I have complete faith in Epic Games at this point. We're going to be talking about that today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. So guys, let's talk about this. Let me bring you over to this post by Shinna that kind of started the entire conversation for today. Within the next 320 days, we are likely to see the first Fortnite Battle Royale season created entirely in UEFN. A lot of people didn't know about this. A lot of people are surprised by this. A lot of people don't care about this. And a lot of people are very, very worried about this. So as usual, guys, we are going to give my thoughts for the video. And as always, we're going to take a bunch of replies over on X from various parts over on the platform to kind of get a gauge on how people are feeling about this. Now, how do I feel about it? There is not a ton to dive into this, to be honest with you. I have complete faith in Epic Games. Look, they're handling, while we had some bumps in the road, as we all know in Chapter 5, they have been handling the metaverse incredibly. They've been handling the game perfectly. And we got to think about, like, UEFN is probably, I would go as far to say that's, like, probably the most important thing that Epic Games could be developing right now. They want everybody to be developing games within Unreal Engine. This is something that's very important to them. So I don't believe that they are going to start releasing Battle Royale seasons in UEFN unless it is ready. Plus, you got to imagine, this is something that we talked about in a few other videos. I would imagine that there is going to be more UEFN tools and perfections and updates down the road that we do not have yet, because a lot of people are worried about the state of Unreal Engine Fortnite right now, but Epic Games probably already has some advanced version of it that we haven't seen yet. They're working out the quirks, they're working out the bugs. Fortnite has been nothing but spectacular. I love the flow of the gameplay. Even in the seasons that you don't like, it oftentimes functions perfectly fine. So I think that people are looking into this way too deeply. If this is Epic Games' vision, if this is their plan for the future of the game, which is going to last, it's going to last the test of time, man. It's going to be around forever, to be honest with you. Fortnite is locked in as one of those games like Minecraft, League of Legends, some of the games that will never go away. Fortnite's there now, man, and Epic Games isn't going to ever risk that by releasing something like UEFN that's kind of, I don't know, lackluster. I'm trying to, you know what, the word that came to mind was half-assed. I just was trying to look for a different word to say, but of course, it's not just about what I think in this video. Let's take a look at what people had to say in replies to Shinna, Hypex, all those guys talking about on the Explore page, and over for replies to myself to kind of get a gauge again on how people are feeling about this. I asked this over on X. Anyone want to share their thoughts on this? Hopes, predictions, anything. I'll include some replies in a future video. Thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody who did reply. I appreciate you guys. If you want to join the conversation, follow me over on X. You can find the link to the actual X page over in the description down below, or near the top, you can find the link tree for easy access. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not already, like and subscribe. Let's get into what everybody had to say about this. Denny had this to say. Probably going to be Chapter 7 Season 1, but honestly, people overreact about this too much. It's most likely going to feel like any other season or chapter launch. I would imagine so, and I would imagine it's not only going to feel like any other season or chapter launch, I feel like it's going to be slightly improved. I don't know the technicalities of like what Epic Games is doing right now and maybe what Unreal Engine could bring to the game, but we know that Epic Games is consistently working on this platform. Like, they're going to make sure that it's perfectly fine. So I do agree with Denny and what they had to say over there, okay? Let's take a look at what Renclaw had to say. Yeah, because it's working so well ballistic without any bugs at all. I feel like they'll likely push back making BR and UEFN post-2025. I honestly feel like if the funding push towards awarding UEFN creators was dialed back and used to enhance UEFN, then we'd be a lot better off for if they decide to make this switch. I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe they could work on it a little bit quicker, but at the end of the day, I think they're doing a good job with what they're doing so far. Ballistic, it's important to note, I don't think it's really fair to compare Ballistic because that is an early access game. As we play this, as the game gets updated, as the game gets more flushed out, we are going to see less bugs, and it's going to work its way into becoming an actual perfect game. It's an early access right now. I wouldn't really compare that to the capabilities of UEFN. Again, Epic Games is going to make sure that this works, because what they're not going to do is release Chapter 7 when the UEFN is in early access still. They're going to make sure that it works perfectly fine. Let's continue on to what Rage Quit God had to say. Genuine question, why do people hate that Chapter 7 BR is going to be made with UEFN? We've seen what it can really do, and it's only getting better. It's only a matter of time till it's amazing even more than it is already. I think that was well said. Epic Games is going to constantly improve it. I hope that I don't continue repeating myself this entire time, but Epic's going to keep making it better, man. They're going to make sure that we have a good time with it, okay? Happy Power piped up and had this to say, I am actually somewhat looking forward to it. It won't be crazy different, but perhaps it'll include a lot more custom gameplay features. I hope so too. And what I really hope from all of this is that people can actually start making their own Battle Royale seasons in UEFN for a bunch of people to play over in Discovery. I think that'd be so cool. People building their own map changes, having their own storyline. Like, I cannot wait to see that stuff. The only thing that I worry about too is memory. I would imagine that if they are going to dive into people making their seasons one day, they're going to figure out a way for people to have memory. Hey, you know what? Could be a crew subscription. Who knows? But anyways, let's continue on to what Mustard Plays had to say. Reminder about this. Epic's goal is to set the UEFN tools to a point where players won't notice a difference. The current tools are not good enough for full BR quality game mode, so don't worry, Epic isn't going to put out something that is less quality than they already have. That was very well said, and if you guys aren't familiar with Mustard Plays, this is the brother of Donald Mustard. He oftentimes says that he doesn't know anything about the game, but I don't believe that for a second. I know if my brother and I were running Epic Games, then we would know something about it. Like, if I'm running a company, man, my brother's gonna know about it. So I always take Mustard Plays' words very seriously. I wholeheartedly believe that he has some sort of insider information, no matter how much he says that he doesn't know what's coming. But there actually was a reply over to Mustard Plays, but I'm going to stop you just for a second before we take a look at that. I want to pause you for 1 second, guys. As you know, I've been starting a family. We're going to have another kid, and I have been grinding very hard on YouTube on my multiple channels in order to reach the goal of providing for my wife, my children, living happily ever after, giving them everything that they ever wanted. So I have been advertising my supporter creator code. If you are not using a supporter creator code in the item shop, please consider using my code Clen. Every little bit has been helping. You guys have seriously been boosting my life a little bit up, and I really appreciate you. I will never forget it. Thank you very much. So again, if you do not have a code that you are using in the item shop, code Clen, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. And again, like, subscribe, comment down below. I would love to have you guys over join the conversation in the comments. There was a reply over to Mustard Plays. Mood had this to say. Would they also increase memory too since... Sorry, I just talked about memory. It's just funny that this is the one that came up, okay? So then, since I doubt they can make a new chapter of the current limit, or they will have, or will they only have that? Mustard Plays responded to that. I asked at an Unreal Fest. They said they couldn't answer. My guess is they will have some memory exceptions. I would imagine so as well. That would make sense, right? But of course, that is still in the unknown. But again, Epic Games has a way of figuring things out. I'm sure it'll all be okay. Cyan had this to say. It won't matter at all for the player. Changes nothing. Possibly will horribly ruin the game to make it filled with bugs to slow down development processes, etc. Only if they are rushing going to UEFN before the engine is even good enough to handle this. I don't think Epic is dumb enough to do that, even though I hate 90% of their recent choices. No matter what you like, what you don't like about Epic Games, and something that I appreciate that Cyan can take a look at is, no matter how much he has been, and I don't want to say hating on Fortnite, hating their choices, right? He doesn't like the direction that the game is going. He can still look at this and say, you know what? Epic Games is a solid company. Epic Games won't steer the game in the wrong direction. They are not going to rush into this. It's going to be perfect. I imagine that we're going to honestly play Chapter 7 and barely notice anything. Just like Mustard Play said, that's the goal. The players don't want to notice that there's a difference. The game is running on a completely different engine. Let's continue on to what Charo had to say. It'll be fine. If UEFN isn't finished, they won't do it because they'll ruin their moneymaker. Very simple, but very well said. Sometimes it is that simple, right? And I completely 100% agree with that. Nothing to add. They're not going to ruin what makes them the most money. Let's continue on to what Grookymon had to say. Trust Tim Sweeney. He knows what he's doing. He has made it this far and knows what is best for the game. Trust his process. In the end, it'll work out. Tim Sweeney's got us this far, man. And no matter... And I know that it's very popular right now to sit back and go, Tim Sweeney, what an idiot that guy is. But in reality, he has accomplished an incredible feat, that being Fortnite. I know it's not just him, but he's the guy running everything. So if Tim is doing something, if Tim wants to create a Battle Royale experience within Unreal Engine Fortnite, then I would imagine that it is a good idea. Like Grookey said, I completely trust Tim Sweeney. By the way, guys, we still do have more tweets to take a look at, more replies, and I'm really thankful that you've been watching a video this far. So if you've been enjoying the channel, if you don't know, of course, I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. We do have more channels for you to watch over in the link tree, or the actual links to them will be in the description down below. We make variety content, we make UFC and MMA content, we make movies, TV, anime review content, Fortnite clips content. You can take a look at any of that in the link tree or the description down below. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's continue on to what everybody else had to say about this. Urgent had this to say. If we can get this from a smaller team with a majorly smaller budget in UEFN, I see no legitimate excuse for Epic to not be able to make a whole season well in UEFN. That's very true, and it's important to note, that is kind of like the first step. As good as Fracture Reshaped was, this is only the very, very beginning. As the tools develop, as more people get into creating, it's only going to get better with time. I am so excited, guys, just for the future of this game in general, man. Let's continue on to what Sir Rifty Dylan had to say. As a UEFN dev who's used both UEFN and UE, there's definitely a lot of work needed for this to work in UEFN. Epic is well aware of this though, and I'm sure it'll be good by the end of the year. Another thing that people forget is Epic made the engine, so they got modified versions of UEFN and UE. Hence how they create modes like Ballistic and Reload. I think regardless of it, UEFN is good or bad by the end of 2025, UEFN BR will still be the same as it currently because Epic uses a more unlocked version of UEFN with more features. That's what I was trying to allude to at the beginning of this video. Epic Games is 10 steps ahead of us, or I don't know exactly how many different versions they have of UEFN, but they are way ahead of schedule. So if they're talking about Chapter 7, then they know something that we don't. And again, I don't think that we know more than Epic Games when it comes to the vast majority of things about this platform. Emmanuel had this to say, I'm still skeptical about this change. Why even do it if they have already had their own tools? If they manage to truly upgrade UEFN to a point that'll be able to run a season, I'm gonna be impressed, but seeing the UEFN in the last few years, I will not be amazed if something bad happens. That's a fair take. That's a fair take. If a lot of people are skeptical, Epic Games can show them otherwise, right? I respect that opinion. I respect the non-blindly hating on Tim Sweeney and talking about how what a stupid idea this is, because you do see that it's with this one, it's a really, really giant mixture of opinions for this one. I understand it from both sides. I understand the people that are skeptical. I am just totally on board with Fortnite at this point. Let's continue on to Icon Queen. It will be an improvement all around, especially visually. The only unknown variable is developer effort. People hear UEFN and immediately think of the low effort creative maps and the disaster Fracture, when in fact, those are just poor quality games made using the UEFN tools. Very well said. Icon Queen, usually when we get replies, usually they're pretty well said, to be honest with you. So I appreciate Icon Queen. Thank you for dropping your opinion over there. But it is true. A lot of people, it's I don't want to say trendy again, but it's like a buzzword. When they hear UEFN, those letters, they go, red versus blue. Slop. I hate it, you know? And then they'll just like equate anything to that. That's a very, very good point. Very true. Let's continue on to what Dan had to say. My hope for UEFN seasons is that they need to pull it off right from the start. I personally think a lot is going to change with this modern technology. I think they're trying to showcase it with the Fall Guys event. I don't have any room for my most important take, so I will, and I am sorry if there was more to that. I just cut off that tweet right there. But regardless, it is completely correct. From the start, we need to have something really, really great because first impressions are everything. Unfortunately, that's just the way that humans are, right? They rely on their first impression. They oftentimes don't change it. Some do, but the vast majority of people don't. If you want to avoid the Fortnite is dying videos over and over and over again and risk people legitimately actually leaving the game, they need to create a banger season with this right from the get-go. I completely agree with that, but you know what else that you should agree on no matter what? These two videos that I think you should check out right here. One of them is the rising difficulties of living and dating as a gamer. Made it a long time ago, but we're adding something new. This video down here, it's from the Variety Channel. Would love to have you guys over there where we take a look at a problem in relationships today. I would love to have you in either video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.